Joining us right now on our Village Inn hotline, where all of our guests always appear, is one half of the Sports Detectives. I'm excited about having private investigator Kevin Barrows with us right now, and hopefully we'll get his other half, Lauren Gardner, joining us here momentarily. But Kevin, appreciate you starting us off, and congratulations. This Sports Detectives show on Sunday, where it debuts Sunday night on the Smithsonian Channel, sounds like a very, very cool topic for a lot of sports fans.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's great to be on with you here, and it is. I think it's going to be a really compelling show, and I think it's got a little something for everyone.
Kevin, give me your background a little bit so we know where you've come from as you get ready to hit this television show in a big way Sunday night.
Sure. Well, I was a lawyer for a few years, and then I decided to go into the FBI. I was fortunate enough to get in. I was a little bit like the Forrest Gump of the FBI. I ended up being involved in two of the biggest cases in U.S. history. After that, I went out and started my own firm with a couple of former federal agents. And since that time, we've been working on some really large investigations, and I work with the NFL and the NHL. Wow. I assist them, I consult with them and help with personal, player issues and those kinds of things, as well as investigations. And my firm, assisted the NFL in Deflategate. And we've worked on the Bernard Madoff matter and helped people get money back in that case. So we do a lot of Wall Street-type cases as well, but I do a lot in the sports arena.
So you're big into this. Now, when you were first approached about getting involved in a program like this, where you're trying to track down some of the greatest treasures from the greatest games and players in sports history that have been missing or at least lost, I'm sure this is probably something that, although it's a little bit different than what you're used to, you jumped at that opportunity.
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean, I'm a huge sports fan, plus the fact that while it's a little different, there's only one way to do an investigation right. So it almost doesn't matter what the subject matter is when you're doing an investigation in sort of a logical, sensible way.
Could you have done this show 15 or 20 years ago before the technological improvements have really been developed as far as, using forensics and trying to locate things like we can now?
Well, in some ways, no. As you point out, technology and the Internet and so forth helps you locate people. But in some ways, because they're historical, more people probably would have been around to talk about it who may have been witnesses to some of these things.
Do you use social media to help you in your investigations, especially for this?
Oh, yeah. Show? Absolutely. The Internet, everything at your disposal, social media, and, of course, nothing replaces speaking to people.
That's absolutely right. Now, let's talk about the first episode Sunday night, the Miracle on Ice flag. We all know about that flag from Lake Placid with Jim Craig and that U.S. gold medal team and how he wore that flag. And it's funny because you don't really think about, where that could be after, 37 years. But it's a great start to the show because it was such an iconic piece of sports history as far as, the USA goes.
Absolutely. And to me, I think, the greatest single sporting event in United States history. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember, vividly the pictures of Jim Craig draped in that flag. Although I was very young, it left a really strong impression on me, and looking for his dad in the stands. And to have the chance to sort of go and find that and try to find that flag was an absolute thrill.
Kevin Barrows with us right now on our Village Inn hotline as we talk about the debut of Sports Detectives Sunday night on the Smithsonian Channel. So, yeah, what's better, trying to hunt these things down or getting the opportunity to talk to some of the ex-athletes and people as far as getting clues and figuring this out?
Yeah, it's all good. I got to tell you, because I'm really hyped up on doing investigations. I love it. I love the challenge, and then of course, being an enormous sports fan, I love speaking to the athletes, these sort of history-making athletes, if you will. It's all a thrill. It really was.
Now, are there going to be a total of 8 episodes this first season?
Well, there's 6 one-hour episodes, but effectively 8 different artifacts are involved, because there are 2 episodes, the first and the last one, where my partner and I, look together for one and work on one case together, and then the other ones, the middle episodes, the 4 middle ones, are really 2 episodes in one, sort of interwoven. So I might be working on the Franco Harris Immaculate Reception ball, where she might be working on the Jim Brown Super Bowl ring.
I got you. Now, is there a particular favorite for you, or was this just all good?
Honestly, it was all good. It's real hard to say what my favorite was because everyone was different, just like every investigation you do, in real life. And that's the beauty of this show. I mean, the Smithsonian Channel and the production company said, we want you to do a real investigation. Do what you do. There's no script. There's no do this for TV. Just do what you do. So it's not like other shows where there's a tight little bow at the end of every episode all the time. You don't know what's going to happen, just like real life.
I love it. It's great stuff. And I noticed that as far as if you're going to do this show right, like you did, this involves a lot of travel. And I'm sure you logged a lot of miles.
And
time. Exactly right. Time has got to be unbelievable for you, especially. You've got a day job. So to do this and take on this project over the 6 episodes and 8 stories, it's got to be remarkable.
It was a labor of love. I have to tell you. I'm sure my wife and family understood. They were really supportive of it. But I truly loved it. What I did, and I was working my day job. Early mornings and throughout the night. So while I was traveling, so it was definitely an interesting time.
If this show is a success, and there's no reason to think it won't be, Sports Detectives, would you want to sign on for a second season, do more of this, and continue to be part of it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I loved every second of it, every bit of the process. I would love to have the opportunity to do it again.
So I'm looking at some of the stories, folks. We're talking about the 100-point game ball from Will Chamberlain in Hershey, Pennsylvania, when he beat the Knicks. There's also a Kentucky Derby trophy that they call questionable. A Lou Gehrig game-used bat. Bob Gibson World Series home run ball. Is that Kirk Gibson's World Series home run ball?
Yes.
Kirk Gibson. That's the Dodgers series off of Eckersley. And then Secretariat's missing Kentucky Derby saddle cloth. I mean, there's so much, and it's interesting because you really take it in all the different directions. And I'm sure one of the things that you probably thought about when you were doing this is that this is not all football or basketball or baseball. You hit horse racing. You have hockey. You've got everything as far as trying to span the sports world for these artifacts.
You're absolutely right, and that's part of what I loved about it. I mean, I grew up a baseball, football, basketball, hockey guy, but I got the opportunity to delve into NASCAR and into horse racing, and those are sports I just didn't quite have the appreciation for, and now I do. I mean, the fans are bar none as dedicated to those sports as I am to mine. So it was really a fun insight into those sports.
Okay, now judging from your accent, you grew up in the New York, New Jersey area, correct?
That's right. That's correct.
Okay. Let's see here.
Good investigation, Steve.
Thank
right
you.
There. Good PI work there, Steve.
And knowing your age, because you're probably about the same age as me, I would go Yankees over Mets in baseball. I would go.
Nope. That's wrong.
Mets.
He's
good.
Like you.
He's like me is right. Well, listen, if you're a Mets fan, then you got to be a Jets fan.
You're absolutely right.
Good.
There you go.
And Knicks and Rangers?
You got it.
You know what? We're the same. I knew I liked you for a reason, and now we've solved this mystery, Kevin, because we're about the same age. We like the same sports teams. That's good. Yep. I feel like I've known you all my life. It's perfect.
Let me tell you, being a Jet and Met fan builds character. I'll tell you that.
It sure does. It builds a lot of other things too, but character is definitely one of them. That's exactly right. Now, as fans get a chance to watch Sports Detectives with you beginning Sunday, what are some of the things that they're going to enjoy most about this show?
Well, I think there's 3 things. One is if you're a sports fan, you're obviously going to love the sports aspect. But if you're not a sports fan, there's a great human interest backdrop to every story, and a historical backdrop. And then if you don't like that, there's the investigative side, a real investigations going on. So there's something for everyone, and I hope people really enjoy the show.
They're going to. And I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a season 2, I'm going to send you on a quest that's going to take you everywhere. And I don't know if it's going to end up well.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. So we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of Texas Western's victory over Kentucky in the championship in the 66 title game with Don Haskins, Glory Road, the 5 African-American starters that beat Adolph Rupp and the 5 white starters. Well, the television version of that game has not been seen in 50 years. It's just like the Super Bowl. Same thing. We've never seen it. We don't know if it exists. I'm willing to bet it's locked up in some basement somewhere that's in that who knows where, but that's been a quest of ours. I spend years on this, Kevin. I don't have your resources or your expertise, but that's something we've got to do, is that if there's a season 2, we've got to get to the bottom and try to unearth the actual telecast of this basketball game for the first time in 50 years.
Boy, that's a good one. I hope to have the opportunity to take a crack at it, that's for sure.
Well, we do, too. In the meantime, we'll look forward to watching you and Lauren Sunday night and throughout the next, 5-6 weeks as you have a weekly 1-hour show, Sports Detectives, on Smithsonian Channel. You've been great. Thanks for giving us some time today, Kevin, and we'll really look forward to checking you guys out Sunday night.
Thanks very much for having me. Take care.
You too. Here he is, Kevin Barrows, with us on Sports Talk as we continue.
You guys bonded.
Well, I mean, he likes the same teams.
Yeah, the exact same teams.
And I figured, okay, grew up in the New York area, same age as me. I figured first I'd go Yankees. And as soon as he said Mets, let me tell you something.
Everything else
if
is
you're
the
a
same.
Mets fan, you're a Jets fan. You don't find many Mets and Giants fans.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it's Mets, Jets, Knicks, Rangers. And once I heard that, I said we've got a winner here.